They came to Earth expecting easy pickings. They thought humans were just a bunch of squishy, weak things. Then they found the wrong city, wrong continent. A single soldier's words changed everything. Finally, a reason to get really nasty. The Tsar Dominion had conquered 17 star systems without breaking a sweat. Their method was simple. Arrive, demonstrate overwhelming force, accept surrender, move on. They'd cataloged Earth as a level 2 civilization, barely space-capable, divided by primitive tribal boundaries, armed with chemical propellants and nuclear toys. The kind of world that usually surrendered after the first demonstration strike. The first Tsar ship punched through Earth's atmosphere like a fist through paper, its gravitic shields turning the air to plasma. It settled over New York City, a kilometer-wide disk of alien metal that blocked out the sun. The message that followed was broadcast in every human language simultaneously. People of Earth, you have been selected for integration into the Tsar Dominion. Surrender is your only option. Resistance will result in the systematic destruction of your population centers. You have one planetary rotation to comply. In a bunker beneath Cheyenne Mountain, General Patricia Chen watched the feeds from around the world. London, Moscow, Beijing, Sydney. Every major city now sat under the shadow of a Tsar vessel. Ma'am, her aide reported, voice tight. The UN Security Council is drafting terms of surrender. Chen turned to the corner of the command center where Sergeant Riley Stone sat cleaning his rifle, an ancient thing by military standards, all mechanical parts and chemical propulsion. He'd been training the new Special Forces unit, teaching them tactics from the bad old days when humans only had other humans to fight. Sergeant Stone, Chen called. Thoughts? Riley looked up, his scarred face breaking into what might have been a smile on someone else. On him, it looked like a predator recognizing prey. You know what I think, General. He stood, slinging the rifle over his shoulder. They made the same mistake everyone makes. They looked at our tech and thought that's all we are. The Security Council can surrender if they want, Riley interrupted. But me and mine? We've been waiting for something like this. A real enemy. Someone we don't have to feel bad about getting creative with. Chun studied him. Riley Stone was a relic, a warrior from the last generation of human conflicts. The kind of soldier modern militaries had tried to phase out. Too brutal, too willing to cross lines, too comfortable with the darker aspects of human nature. Exactly what they needed now. What do you need? Chen asked. Riley's grin widened. Everything in the black sites. Every weapon we weren't supposed to use on each other. Every soldier you discharged for being too aggressive. Every plan that got shelved for being a war crime. He cracked his knuckles. They unleashed hell. Let's show them what hell's got waiting for them. 24 hours later, the Tsar received Earth's response. It wasn't a transmission. It wasn't a diplomatic envoy. It was the smoking wreckage of their Mumbai vessel, brought down by a combination of repurposed ICBMs, jury-rigged EMPs, and something the humans had apparently cooked up in a meth lab that ate through their shields like acid through tissue paper. Commander Vextal of the Tsar fleet stared at the debris field in disbelief. How? Their technology is primitive. Sir, his tactical officer reported, antenna twitching nervously. We're detecting massive mobilization across the planet. Not military, civilian. They're turning everything into weapons. Vehicles, industrial equipment, even their entertainment devices. Impossible. No species fights after a demonstration of superior force. It's illogical. As if in response to his words, transmissions began flooding in from Earth. Not from governments or militaries, but from individuals. Millions of them. The universal translator struggled with the variety of languages and dialects. But the message was clear. Come and get some. Molen Labe. You want Earth? Come take it. Finally, something worth fighting. And from 100 different sources, the same phrase. You just gave us a reason to get really nasty. The Paris vessel was next. The Tsar watched in horror as humans, civilians, swarmed it like antibodies attacking an infection. They climbed the landing struts with improvised explosives. They flew aircraft into the shield generators, sacrificing themselves to create momentary gaps. They pumped the air full of corrosive chemicals that somehow, impossibly, reacted with the vessel's organic components. They're insane, Vextal breathed. Don't they understand they can't win? His science officer pulled up the relevant data. Commander, I've been analyzing their history. This species, they've been killing each other for millennia. Not for resources or territory, but for concepts. Ideas. They've weaponized everything from splitting atoms to engineered diseases. Their entire technological development has been driven by finding new ways to destroy. But they're primitive. No, sir. They're specialized. While we developed shields and space travel, they developed 10,000 ways to kill. And now, the officer's chromatic skin shifted to a fearful purple. Now they have us to focus on. The Tokyo vessel tried to retreat. The humans had somehow figured out how to disrupt their gravitic drives using modified cell towers. The ship crashed into Tokyo Bay where the locals were waiting with industrial cutting equipment and a disturbing enthusiasm. Sir, the communications officer's voice cracked. Incoming transmission from the surface. It's from their military command. Put it through. The face that appeared on screen was human, scarred, smiling. Vextal recognized the expression from their xenopsychology files. It was supposed to indicate happiness. On this human, it indicated something else entirely. Commander Vextal, I assume? I'm Sergeant Riley Stone. I wanted to thank you personally. Thank us. Vextal's translator struggled with the concept. Oh yeah. Riley's smile widened. See, we've been playing nice for the last few decades. UN regulations, Geneva Convention, rules of engagement, all that civilized bullshit. We've been keeping the monster locked up, pretending we're better than we are. But you. He laughed, a sound that made Vextal's scales rattle. You beautiful bastards gave us permission to be ourselves again. You cannot defeat us. We have superior technology? Numbers? Sure. Riley shrugged. But here's what you don't have. You don't have 6,000 years of practice killing things stronger than you. You don't have generations of soldiers who grew up on stories of impossible odds. And you definitely don't have what we're about to show you. The transmission cut. Seconds later, alarms screamed across the Tsar fleet. Every human nuclear weapon on the planet had just gone active. Not launched, active. Sitting in their silos, their safeties removed, their countdown timers synchronized. They're going to destroy their own planet. Vextal's voice pitched high with disbelief. But the weapons didn't detonate. They just sat there, active, waiting. A gun pressed to Earth's temple, held by humanity's own hand. Another transmission. Riley again. But now he wasn't alone. Behind him stood soldiers from every nation. Civilians with improvised weapons. Children with Molotov cocktails. All smiling that same predator's smile. Here's the thing about humans, Riley said conversationally. We're not afraid to die. Hell, we've been finding creative ways to do it since we climbed down from the trees. But we're real particular about dying on our feet rather than living on our knees. He leaned forward, and for the first time, Vextal truly understood why the galactic database classified humans as Death World evolved. So here's the deal. You can fight us. We'll lose eventually, but we'll take you with us. Every ship, every soldier, every last one of you will burn with us. We'll make sure the name, Tsar, becomes a cautionary tale about why you don't corner a species that's been practicing mutual annihilation since it learned to throw rocks. Riley paused, letting that sink in. Or you can leave. Right now. No conditions, no negotiations. Just leave and never come back. Tell the rest of the galaxy that Earth is off limits. Not because we're strong, but because we're the kind of crazy that'll burn it all down rather than hand it over. You're bluffing, Vextal managed. Riley's laugh was answer enough. Brother, our entire history is one long chain of calling that bluff. Thermopylae. Stalingrad. The Cuban Missile Crisis. We've been playing chicken with extinction so long it's practically our planetary sport. You want to roll those dice? The command bridge fell silent. The tactical display showed Earth bristling with active weapons, its population armed and mobilized. Not organized, that was the terrifying part. Just millions of individuals who'd independently decided that today was a good day to fight aliens. Sir, the science officer whispered, probability of acceptable victory has dropped to 0. Even if we win, the cost. Vextal stared at the blue planet below. Such a small world. Such primitive people. Yet they'd turned their entire civilization into a weapon pointed at his fleet. No fear in their communications. No pleas for mercy. Just 8 billion predators, finally given something they could all agree was worth killing. All ships, Vextal commanded, his voice heavy. Prepare for withdrawal. Sir. His officers couldn't hide their shock. "We came here for resources and slaves, not mutual annihilation with a species that considers it foreplay." He turned from the screen. "Set course for the edge of the system. Maximum speed." As the Tsar fleet began to pull back, one final transmission reached them. Not from Riley this time, but from General Chun. "Commander Vextel, you're making the right choice. But before you go, understand something. This wasn't humanity at its worst. This was us being restrained. We didn't use the bioweapons. We didn't crack the planet's crust. We didn't even get really creative." Her expression was calm, professional, and somehow more terrifying than Riley's savage grin. "This was humanity giving you a warning. Next time, and pray there isn't a next time, we won't hold back." The Tsar fleet vanished into hyperspace, leaving Earth's skies clear. Around the world, humans slowly powered down their weapons, stored their improvised explosives, and went back to their lives. But something had changed. The divisions that had separated them seemed smaller somehow, less important than what united them. In his bunker, Riley Stone poured himself a drink and offered one to General Chen. "Think they'll be back?" she asked. Riley considered, then shook his head. "Nah, they're smart enough to recognize a losing proposition. But word'll spread. Earth is where you go if you want to learn what Pyrrhic victory really means." All those threats, would we really have done it? Destroyed ourselves to stop them? Riley's scarred face split into that predator's grin one more time. "General, they made the mistake of threatening our home. Our children. Our future. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, humans won't do when you back us into a corner. We've got 6,000 years of proof." He raised his glass. "They wanted to unleash hell. All we did was show them we'd already been living in it. And thriving." Chen clinked her glass against his, a smile playing at her own lips. "You know what the best part is?" "What's that?" "We just turned the entire galaxy into witnesses. Earth stands alone not because we're isolated, but because we're quarantined. The dangerous species. The ones too crazy to conquer." Riley laughed, a sound of genuine joy this time. "They gave us a gift, really. For the first time in human history, we've got a shared enemy. Something to unite against. Something that makes all our old fights look as petty as they always were." Outside the bunker, the sun rose on a changed world. Not conquered. Not defeated. Just a little more honest about what humans really were underneath the veneer of civilization. The monsters under the universe's bed finally given a reason to crawl out and play. And in the depths of space, as news of Earth's response spread through the galactic networks, a new entry was added to the Xenocultural database. "Humans approach with extreme caution. Species exhibits abnormal comfort with mutual annihilation scenarios. Diplomatic contact recommended only in neutral territory. Under no circumstances should the species be threatened on their homeworld. They do not respond to force with submission. They respond with escalation beyond rational parameters. Threat level, do not engage. Ever." Riley Stone never learned about that database entry. But if he had, he would have laughed himself sick. Because humans had spent millennia perfecting the art of the bluff, the threat, the promise of consequences too terrible to test. The real joke? It had never been a bluff. Not once. "You want to know the difference between humans and the rest of the galaxy?" Riley had told his team after the Tsar fled. "Everyone else evolved past their darkness. We just learned to weaponize ours. And when someone gives us permission to let it loose." He'd grin then, savage and satisfied. "Well, that's when we get to show them why Earth's children grew up mean. We don't conquer worlds. We don't need to. We just make sure everyone knows, mess with humanity, and we'll drag you down to hell with us. And unlike you, we know the neighborhood.